Would you, could you, with a moose? Would you, could you, in a caboose? Well, heck yes, I would. Giddy up, bam, especially if there's green eggs and ham. And today, my friends, you're in luck. So climb aboard and don't be a schmuck. No, I haven't gone mad, you silly goose. No, sir, no, ma'am. For real, we're staying in a caboose. And not just any caboose you might find on the loose. This is a 1955 renovated and restored Union Pacific caboose. It's big, it's yellow, it's bright, and it's quite a sight. And this bad boy is guaranteed to fill you with delight. Perched up high on a Tehachapi bluff, you'll find yourself saying that life on the hill is not so rough. Below the canyon, the freight trains roar, steel wheels screeching, but wait, there's more. It feels like a railroad dream come true, with mountains and trains and gorgeous view. Now, you may ask, and rightly so, how did that caboose get way up there, though? How does a rail car big and stout end up on a bluff with no tracks about? Well, don't you worry, don't you frown. I'll spin the tale from town to town. This caboose once sat in a trail yard alone in Fillmore, California, rusty, ragged to the bone. Paint all faded, metal all worn, its interior all shot out and torn. That is, until one dreamer one day said, I think this caboose deserves a new way. A man named Dan with a grand big plan and a vivid imagination as wide as the land. He searched online and he searched all around and found this caboose for sale in old Fillmore town. He scratched his head and said with a grin, this caboose deserves a life again. But first came a task quite massive and grand, move a whole caboose across the land. A massive crane came in with a mighty lift and hoisted the caboose like a giant gift. Onto a semi it carefully went, with bolts and straps and good intent. The wheels came off with a clank and a creak, and rode on another truck down the street. Then both trucks rolled for miles and miles, past valleys and hills, and people with big smiles. 100 miles through California land, towards Tehachapi and Dan's big plan. But friends, oh friends, the story's not done. In fact, the tricky part had just begun. Because once it arrived, a problem appeared. How do we get it up there? They all cheered. From street to backyard, up on the bluff, the question alone was challenge enough. But Dan had grit and determination too, and a crane operator who really knew what to do. A foundation was made mighty and strong, and railroad rails were laid nice and long. Real steel rails like the freight trains ride, stretching proudly along the hillside. First came the wheels with a careful swing, the crane lifted them like a delicate thing. Up and over the house they flew, then gently landed right on their new view. And then, the moment big and bold, the lift of the caboose itself to behold. Up in the air the rail car went, quite the show, floating like a balloon above the house below. Neighbors watched with jaws dropped low as the caboose sailed over their heads nice and slow. Then softly, gently down it came, right on its wheels just the same. And with that, the landing safe and sound, a brand new chapter spun around. For 18 months the work went on, from early morning until late dawn. The rusty car, once tired and grim, became a cozy tiny home within. Step outside and what do you see? A porch with views for miles, maybe 3. Sip morning coffee as sunrise glows, or evening drinks as sunset slows. But the true stars of this rail car scene, the trains below, long, loud, and keen. 48 trains some days roll through, clanking and rumbling beneath your view. You'll hear them first with a distant horn, echoing soft through the canyon at morn. Then wheels begin their metal cry, screeching rails as they roll by. And here's one thing you quickly learn: those trains don't sleep. 24/7 they churn and churn. Earplugs wait by the bed inside, a thoughtful touch the hosts provide. But truth be told, they barely win against the rumble and iron din. Sometimes you swear with a sleepy sigh the caboose might hitch a ride and roll on by. But trains aren't all that roam this land. Nature performs right on command. Deer stroll past in quiet grace. Coyotes sing from a distant place. Hawks ride thermals overhead, while lizards dart where footsteps tread. Snakes may slither, small and sly, but never mind them, they are really quite shy. And if you're lucky, oh what a sight, you might see wings both huge and bright. A California condor gliding high, a giant shadow across the sky. Once nearly gone from the wild they flew, just a handful left, a precious few. But thanks to care and patient might, they soar again in mountain flight. Now come along, it's time to peek inside this caboose so snug and unique. The kitchen small but quite complete, with a stove and a fridge and a table seat. Microwave, sink, and coffee brew for meals and snacks with a railroad view. The bathroom waits just down the way with a shower and toilet ready to stay. Next comes the bedroom, cozy and neat, with a queen-size bed and climate control heat. And then perhaps the coolest nook, a place conductors once would look. The cupola sits up high and proud, with windows watching trains out loud. Climb upstairs, but watch your step. They're narrow ones, so mind your pep. From up there you can sit and stare at trains and mountains everywhere. Photos and schedules line the walls, railroad books in tidy halls. Trains on shelves, trains in the art, trains everywhere right from the start. This caboose blends comfort and rail history too, into one tiny home with a marvelous view. And the location? Oh, it's prime indeed, just minutes away from Highway 58 speed. Tehachapi town is close at hand, with wineries scattered across the land. Breweries bubble, trails twist and loop, and gliders soar with a graceful swoop. Just nearby, rail fans will surely whoop with joy and happiness at the famous Tehachapi Loop. Downtown offers a depot old, a bakery sweet, and stories told, and plenty of spots where hungry folks can sit and laugh and share good jokes. If sleeping inside a caboose sounds neat, this little spot can't be beat. You'll find it listed for folks like you on Airbnb and VRBO too. Train lovers come from near and far to stay inside this rolling star. And host Dan and Janine take pride in making guests feel satisfied. Because really now, just think it through. How often can someone say it's true? I spent the night where conductors once chose, inside a real railroad caboose. One heck of a show.